Guys, it's Kritika. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I edit my photos. So this is something I get asked a lot. In fact, I even promised I'd make this video last time I made a photography related video. So I'm finally getting down to it now. In case you're new here and aren't familiar with my editing style, here are a few before after shots to show you what my editing looks like. So yeah, this is kind of how I edit my photos. So if you'd like to learn how to do this, I'm going to teach you the whole process from scratch. So keep on watching. Lightroom is honestly such a powerful app. I've been using it for 2 years now and it has been such a game changer. This is what my feed looked like before I started using Lightroom, and here's what my feed looks like now, so you can see what a difference it's made to my editing. Also, I'm super excited to announce that I'm finally launching my Lightroom presets. So Lightroom is the app that I use to edit my photos, and presets are basically like filters. So with just one click and a few minor tweaks, you can edit your photos just the way I do. So I have been working on these presets for almost a year now, in fact longer I think, and I'm very excited that you can finally get your hands on them and improve your editing skills. So I will leave a link to my store in the description box below. Do go check it out. I also have a discount going on the first week, and I'm giving away one free preset on my store as well, so be sure to download that, because if you're new to presets and how they work, that will give you an idea. I have 6 different collections, and each collection works for different kinds of photos, and they're also priced at different price points. So I'll talk about that, and I'll show you more of before after shots of these presets towards the end of this video. So if you're interested, be sure to watch that. But now let me just show you how I edit my photos from scratch without using presets. So like I mentioned, I edit my photos on this app called Lightroom, and let me just open it up. So Lightroom on your phone is a free software, but I do pay for it. It's a paid subscription if you want to use the desktop version. And I started off editing on my desktop because I think that's a more professional software, but you can pretty much do most of the things on the mobile app as well. And now that I have my presets, I just find it easier to edit on my phone because you can edit on the go. Makes life easier when you're traveling. But anyway, this is the first photo that I'm going to be editing. It's a picture from Jaipur, and I absolutely love the picture. Even without editing, it looks amazing. But yeah, let me just show you how I would edit this picture. So let me just start by explaining the layout of the Lightroom app. So at the bottom here, you have like a ribbon of different kinds of settings. So you have light, color, effects, detail, and these 4 things are the primary things I'm going to be using. Firstly, I'm going to go to the crop function and crop this picture to Instagram size, which is basically 4:5. So yeah, this is the crop I would go with, and let's start editing. So first I start by adjusting the light functions. So in light, you have exposure, contrast, highlights, shadows, whites and blacks, and I usually adjust all of them. So I'm going to start by adjusting the highlights. Usually in my photos, I like bringing the highlights down. Again, all of this is trial and error, and it really depends on the photo and under what light conditions it's taken. But in this photo, I would slightly bring the highlights down. If you bring it all the way down, you can see that it goes a little bit darker, like the highlights become darker, and it doesn't look so bad. So I'll actually leave it midway there. Then I'll go to shadows, and I like increasing the shadows. You can see the difference. If you bring it down all the way, it becomes really dark. If you bring it up, it looks very pastel-y and open, and usually I'll just bring up the shadows a little bit. With whites in this picture, I feel like there are a lot of whites, so I'll bring the whites slightly down and the blacks will go up. So this is the first basic edit, and because I increased the shadows, I think it kind of looks like a painting now, which I like. Then I'll go into curves, which is at the top right here. Here is where you can do a lot of different adjustments to the colors. Now what this does, it's a little bit tricky because the first time I did this, I was super confused. So you can see a graph over here, and what this does is this point over here, the bottom left point, will adjust the shadows. So if you want the shadows to be darker, you can just bring it that way, or if you want the shadows to be lighter, you take it up. And similarly on the right side, it adjusts the highlights of the photos. So if you want to increase the highlights, you do that. If you want to reduce the highlights, you bring it down. In this picture, I would like to increase the highlights a little bit, so I take it up there. You can also add a mark in the middle and adjust the mid-tones. So the mid-tones of the picture basically can be adjusted using this. I really like the midtones there because it opens up the photo, I feel. So this adjusts the highlight and shadows for the entire photo, but you can also go to different colors like red, green and blue and adjust the highlights individually. So I don't really have a set rule for this. For each photo I'll do a different thing, but let me just play around with it and see what looks good. So I've increased the reds both in the shadows and the highlights, and I kind of like the pink effect it gives. I think I'm kind of happy with the tones as they are actually, so I'll adjust it in the end if I feel the need for it. But here's a before and after. This is how it looked before and this is the after. So already you can see there's such a big difference just from doing this. Next, moving on to the color. This is the most fun section I feel because you can individually change and adjust every single color on your phone. So first off, you have these 4 options. You have temperature, tint, vibrance and saturation. So I'm gonna increase the temperature a little bit to the right. If you go all the way, it becomes super yellow. If you go to the left, it becomes super blue. So I'm just gonna do maybe +4 on the temperature. For the tint, I'm just gonna go a little to the left. I also want to increase the vibrance a little bit because I want the colors to pop, so I'm going to increase it to maybe 15. If you go all the way, it becomes super saturated and looks very fake, so usually you want to avoid the extremes. So I'm going to leave it at 15, and I think vibrance is a nicer thing to play with because saturation, I don't know, it sometimes works, but usually it just gives a very artificial look, so I like playing with the vibrance. Usually I don't really adjust the saturation much. So moving on to the most fun part, the top right colorful wheel that you see here, mix. This allows you to adjust every single color. So basically the 7 colors you see there, you can actually play around with the hue of the color, the saturation and the luminance. So the hue basically decides the tone of the color. So as you can see, the reds are turning orange if you go all the way to the right, and if you go to the left, the reds turn very pinkish. So over here, I think I'm gonna go a little left and make it pink. Up the saturation a little bit, and the luminance, what it does is it basically increases the brightness of the tone. As you can see, the reds on the side become super bright, or if you bring it down, it becomes dark. So I want this to be a little bit on the higher side. Next, moving on to orange. This is what typically adjusts your skin tone. So in this picture, you can't really see much of my skin, but if it's a photo of your face or like a close-up shot of you, this is where you can adjust how your skin looks, because sometimes when you make changes, your skin becomes super red or super orange. Let me show you an example. Like if I go to the right here, the oranges become very yellow, and if I go to the left, they become super red. So those extremes obviously aren't very nice, but I would like to leave it a little bit to the yellow side, I think. Next, I will bump up the saturation a little bit, and the luminance, I'm going to bring it down a bit. So editing is honestly a lot of trial and error. Each photo is sort of edited differently. But yeah, I'm just trying out a bunch of different options and seeing what I like best. Now coming to the blues, there are actually 2 blues. There's one light blue and one dark blue. So a lot of times in your photo you have different shades of blues, and if you want to make them look the same way, this is how you adjust it. So once I'm done, this is what it looks like. I also feel like I want to increase the exposure a little bit and increase the contrast, so I'm going to do that. So yeah, here's the before and here's the after. Such a big difference already. Next, I'll also go into the effects and the detail sections and make some changes. So in effects, I usually adjust the clarity. So let me show you what this does. If you bump it all the way to the right, this is what it looks like, which is not very nice. So I do like to increase the clarity a little bit because that makes the photo, I don't know, it gives it a very HD effect, I feel, and I like that. Also, when you go to the bottom, there's another thing which I adjust, which is grain. So if you go all the way to the right, you can see there's a grainy effect, and sometimes that looks really nice, especially in like fashion shots and stuff, I feel, but I will probably leave the grain to like 12 on this just to give it a little bit of a vintage effect. So yeah, that was a very subtle change. Then I'll go into detail and increase the sharpening a little bit again to make the picture look a little sharper. I'm almost done, but there's another thing I usually like doing, which is going into geometry. This I think is only available if you actually have a paid subscription. So by playing around with the settings here, it gives the effect that this photo was taken using a different camera and a different lens. So if I bump it up to the right, it looks like the photo was taken from a further away distance. but because this photo was already symmetrical, I don't really want to play around with this at all because I think it looks nice as is, so I'm just gonna let it be. I forgot to mention this, but within effects there's something called split toning, which I also use. So basically this allows you to adjust the tones of the highlights and the shadows. So basically this gives your highlights and shadows a color, so depending on your preference you can choose whatever you like. For this photo, I might give it a slight yellow tinge to the highlights, and I'm quite happy with the shadows, so I'm just gonna let it be as is. So yeah, I think I'm done editing. This is the before and this is the after, and I love how this has turned out. It looks amazing, I think. Usually I spend a lot more time on fine-tuning everything and making sure it fits with my feed, but let me show you how this works with my preset. If I were to reset this to the initial settings, and ideally I would use the Jaipur preset from my city collection, which is right here. So in just one click you sort of get a similar effect to the one I'd created, which took me a lot of time, and then I can just fine tune a few things here and it'll be good to go. So that's kind of how presets work. But anyway, I'm gonna edit another picture now, and this time I'm gonna take a picture which doesn't look very nice and try to make that look nice. So here's the picture. This was shot a couple of months ago in Seattle in this place called Chiuli Gardens, and I got a random stranger to take this photo, and as you can see it's super dark. You can't even see my face, you can't see anything. It's quite a dark photo, so instinctively I can say that this needs to be brightened up firstly. So I'm gonna increase the shadows and the exposure a little bit. So just by bumping up the shadows, that made the photo so much better in just one click. But yeah, I'll bump up the shadows. I feel like the highlights are too strong on this, so I'm gonna reduce it a bit and bump up the exposure. Now I'm gonna go and individually change all the settings. So I'm gonna bump up the contrast a little bit, reduce the whites, increase the blacks. Oh my god, look at what a difference that made just with 4 steps. This is amazing. I'm gonna go into color and make some more changes now. So I'm quite happy with the warmth, so I might actually make it a little cooler, bring it to the blue side. Vibrance, I will increase it a little bit. And let's go and individually adjust the colors. I like my photos to be bright and vibrant, but if you're into a darker tone, you can bring down the luminance and it gives like a very dark effect. I actually like it a bit towards the darker side in this, so I'm gonna stick to that. For green, there's a lot of green outside and I would like it to look green, so I'm gonna increase the hue of green, also increase the saturation and reduce the luminance. Now coming to blue, you can see the sky. A big chunk of this picture is blue, so I want to make it brighter and slightly more teal toned. So I'm gonna bring it a little towards the left, bring down the saturation a bit and increase the luminance. I kind of like the look of that. Yep, I think that looks good. And I don't really see any purple or pink, except there's that one person in the back who is kind of popping. So I want to hide them. So I'm going to bring down the saturation of pink. So there you see, you can't really see that person much anymore. They're kind of hidden in the background. So I think I kind of like the look of this at first glance. I'm also going to go into effects and increase the clarity a little bit. I'm also going to increase the dehaze a little bit and increase the sharpness. Now I'm actually quite happy with the photo and how it looks, but I still feel like I am a little bit darker in this and I could be brightened up. So you can actually go into selective at the start here and choose individual sections of the photo and adjust them. I think this only comes with the paid subscription, I'm not very sure, but I'm gonna take the rectangular one, adjust the bottom half of the photo. I basically want to increase the shadows there and see what that looks like. So yep, there you go. This looks so much nicer. So yeah, here's what I would do, and I think that made such a big difference. The photo looks amazing now. I'm quite happy with how bright I look. So yeah, here's the before and here's the after. That is such a crazy difference. I honestly love this app so much because there's so much you can do with this. Now let me show you the preset I actually use. So ideally I would use presets from my city collection on this, and here's what it looks like. I like this as well. There's a lot more blues and this looks nice too. Another cool thing about the app is that instead of creating the same effects over and over again, you can use other people's presets, but you can also create your own presets. So if I like this particular set of edits, I can go to presets and go to the three dots on the top and choose create preset and just save this as a preset as well, so you don't have to keep doing the same steps over and over again. I think this app is just awesome. I love it so much. I'm obsessed with it. I hope this explanation was useful. Honestly, there's a lot of just playing around, so if you're interested, just download the app and try to play around with different settings, figure out your own style and see what works for you. I started off editing on my desktop. In fact, for the longest time I used the desktop software to edit because it has a few other features which the free version doesn't have, and my presets were created using a lot of those features as well. So yeah, I'm very proud of the presets. I think they work amazing with all different kinds of photos, and my presets work on both desktop and mobile. So in case you're interested, the link is in the description box. You can check it out. I'm going to take some time now and talk about my presets because I'm so proud of how they've turned out. So I have 4 main collections, and each collection has 11 different presets. So the first collection is the summer collection, then there's a winter collection, there's a city collection and a lifestyle collection, and each of my collection has mobile presets and desktop presets, so you can choose whichever you like. So starting with the summer collection, it has 11 presets like I said, and these presets work with beach shots, lots of blues, greens and warm tones. That's where these presets work well, and the names of the presets are Tropical Vibes, Beach Bum, Vacay Mode, Retro Summer, Island Life, Rice Fields, Pastel, Desert Rose, Blue Lagoon, Full Time and Dreamy Sunset. So each preset is very different and works with different kinds of photos. So not every preset will look good with every picture. Also, it really depends on your preference, but I've designed these packs so that at least one preset will work with any kind of photo. So I think it's sort of like a versatile, exhaustive pack. But moving on to the next collection, it's the winter collection. So this works with mountains, snow, gloomy days when the sun is not out, basically all winter kind of shots. The names of the presets here are Mountain, Let It Snow, Cold, Snowfall, Gloomy Day, Cherry Blossom, Moody, Winter is Coming, Winter Adventure, Magical Sunset and Pink Sunset. The next one is the city collection, and this basically works with all city type, man-made architecture type photos. It works both during nighttime and daytime and indoor and outdoor shots. And the names of the presets are A Day in the City, City Lights, Jaipur, Sunny Day, Color Pop, Vintage, Middle East, Countryside, Cafe, Warm Tones and Sunset Hues. So like you can see, each collection sort of has one preset which goes with sunsets, some for dark photos, some for light photos. So it kind of works with all different kinds of photos. And the fourth collection is the lifestyle collection, and this is more of a general preset collection which works with pretty much all different kinds of photos. So the names of the presets are Bali Vibes, Fashion, Coffee, Sunkissed, Dreamy Fairy Tale, Film Grain, Magazine, Glow, Foodie, Cool Tones and Tourist. So this is more of a lifestyle fashion type preset pack. And yeah, these are all my presets. These presets are literally what I use to edit all my photos. So every photo is edited using one or the other of these presets. I've tested these presets on a lot of my photos, but I've also tested it on over 200 photos which you guys sent in. The other day I put up a story on Instagram asking you guys to email me some photos, and I wanted to basically test if it works on all different kinds of photos and fine-tune the presets. And I think they work great with all kinds of photos, whether it's RAW format or JPEG, whether it's shot on your phone or camera or GoPro or drone or whatever camera you use. So these are my 4 main collections. I also have 2 other collections. One is my master collection, which basically includes all 4 collections. So it has 44 presets in that. And my last collection is the starter pack, which is a more affordable preset pack. It has 4 of my favorite presets, 1 preset from each collection. And yeah, this is sort of like a best of all packs in a way. Apart from this, I'm also giving away 1 free preset. So even if you don't want to buy my presets, you can still download this 1 free preset and try it out and see if you like it. So yeah, these are all my presets, and I'm super excited and super proud to be presenting this to you guys. I've put so much work into creating these presets and setting up my online store, and I really hope you guys enjoy using them. So when you buy my presets, apart from the presets, you'll also get a PDF with an instruction guide of how to install these presets, and you'll also get access to an exclusive video tutorial on how to use Lightroom, the different functions on it, and how to make minor tweaks to make your photos look best. And for the first week, there's going to be a discount on all the presets, so if you're interested, do go check them out. I'd love to see what photos you guys edit, whether you use my presets or not. So be sure to tag me, use hashtag Kritika Goel presets so I can find your photos, because tags don't seem to be working properly on my Instagram for some reason. So use that hashtag. I'm also creating a new Instagram account called Kritika Goel presets where I plan to share Lightroom tips, photography tips, and I'll show you guys how my presets work, show you before after shots. So if you want to see more behind the scenes of my photos and what they originally look like, follow that account as well. If you stuck around till the end of this video, I'm also doing a giveaway where 2 people can win any of my preset collections of your choice, the 4 preset collections. And to participate, you just have to follow the instructions which are in the description box below, so be sure to check that out. I plan to introduce new things in my online store as well, so I'll keep you guys posted about that. And yeah, I hope this video was useful. Be sure to check out my store, the link is in the description. I'm gonna end this video now. If you liked it, give it a like, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, press the bell button, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!